So, a very good evening to all of you. Thank you for joining us for Alternative Routes this evening. I'm Parami and I'll be your host this evening. And Amasha here is working with us as a freelance compeer, and she will be your moderator for today. So, before we start, I'd just like to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, UCL, and we have a small video to play before we start the proceedings. So that was our sponsor, UCL. And without further ado, I will just hand over the controls to Amasha. Amasha, you can go ahead and start.
All right, thank you, Parami. All right, so today's webinar is on alternative routes, and I think this is a very important topic for a lot of the young students these days, because even when I was doing my A-levels maybe 2 years ago, I was really confused about what I should be doing, whether I should actually do my A-levels or start a degree program immediately. So this webinar is going to be really helpful for a lot of the young students, especially because we have so many different perspectives coming in today. So we have Lalani Virarachi today joining us. She's the head of human resources at Atlas Axilla Private Limited. We also have Nayani Costa, who is the head of marketing at UCL. And of course, we have Raya Marambake, who is a student at UCL. So it's really nice having your input on this webinar, and I believe it's going to be a really insightful session for all of the young ones listening in today. Okay, so my first question is actually to Raya. So how would you say the transition between O-level was between like O-levels to a degree program, because you're studying at UCL right now, right?
Yes, that's right. So in terms of the transition, I would say that it was pretty smooth. There was no huge gap between O-levels and the foundation program, so I didn't feel uncomfortable. I didn't feel out of my element at any point, because the workload was also manageable. and there is a very strong support system at UCL that consists of the lecturers and the administrative staff. So with their assistance, I was able to put myself more at ease with my learning experience. Also, I would say that I found that if I paid close attention in class and clarified my doubts on the spot with my lecturers, then I was able to keep up with the work at a much more easier pace.
That's great. That's great. So it's great that there wasn't a really significant change between O levels and a degree program, because I think that's one of the biggest concern most of the students who decide to skip A levels have. So my next question is going to be to Naini. What are the options that are available for a student who decides that they don't want to do their A levels? So at UCL, what are the different options that they will be having? I'm sorry, Naini, you're muted.
Sorry. First, I must tell hi to everybody who's gathered today. Um, for a student who is after A levels, you have so many options nowadays, right? But then people have to choose among them very wisely. So if not, you can get lost in this business world. So I must say there are high national diplomas, then foundation programs, and many other diplomas that would support a student who do not want to pursue A levels. So in that sense, at UCL, we have an international foundation, which Raya is part of it, and she is one of our batch top students as well. So we are very proud of her. And so this foundation, which is internationally recognized by many countries and many universities, gives students opportunities to pursue into a degree without A levels. So see, when I say the international foundation, well, you get so many other foundations that's done by the university. So they are recognized only by that particular university. When it comes to the International Foundation year at UCL, this is offered by NCC UK, which is an independent awarding body in the UK. So that is why it has immense recognition all over the world. And NCC qualification is a very old qualification in the world. So therefore, this international foundation is recognized by Australia, Canada, USA, UK, Dublin, Scotland, and many other countries. So therefore, a student who pursue this foundation with UCL would have many opportunities, many pathways, and accepted by many countries in many universities.
All right, thank you. So I have a question from the audience who's listening in right now. They want to know what is the basic requirement, O-level requirement they need to follow a foundation course at UCL.
Yes, if somebody is joining UCL for the foundation, you need to have 5 passes for your O-levels, including a credit for mathematics and English.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. So I'm going to direct the next question to Lalani, because this was a question that even I had when I was thinking about my options. Because so I was thinking, does the fact that you don't have your A-level qualifications on your CV affect a student or someone who's looking for a job? Like, does it affect their chances of getting the job? This is if they are coming straight out of O-level to look for a job instead of pursuing a degree beforehand.
Yeah, hello. You can hear me, all right?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
You can hear me, all right? Yes.
Yes, we can hear you, Lalani.
Yeah. Obviously not. Yes, obviously not. Today, the job market is very competitive, and there should be, like, say, something unique for you all to sell in an interview, and you should be able to convince yourself, like, say, in recent market recent job market and recent opportunities in the industry. If the candidate can prove him or herself to recruit for the position available, what is included in the CV is coming second. So we are checking the CV later on, and first thing you must convince yourself at the interview. So there are positions we look for specific qualifications, but learning and education will not be considered to be evaluated in the same standard practice nowadays. Yes, previously it was a standard practice. You need to go to scholarship in grade 5, O levels, and then A levels, obviously, then for the degree, and then for MBA. Likewise, there was a standard set of education method previously. But today, the market is looking for the best candidates, best students, best the qualified people, like say the best people to recruit in the positions. So they are like, so we are looking for, industry is looking for young personalities who can take challenges, who can obviously add value to the organization, and who can bring new ventures to the organization. That's the main thing that we are looking from candidates. And like say, for that, entrance to the job market is very challenging today. So but candidates should be passionate to enter into the private sector, and they must understand that paper qualification is only a passport for you to enter into the job market. After that, what matters is your performance. To groom in the industry and make your career ladder and climb up in the career ladder, that is again purely based on your performance. That's the job market today from previously to now. What's the change? It's changing day by day, and the students should be focused on their education. It doesn't matter O levels or A levels or the foundation. So they should select the right path to bring into their self to the career, and that will be resulting them to get a career, good chances to enter into the private sector.
Right. Okay. Thank you. That was very insightful. But I was also thinking, so what can a student do to maybe spice their CV up to make them more uh, to make them to increase their chances of getting hired. So in addition to making a good first impression, what would you recommend them doing in school if they were in school? So in terms of extracurricular activities, what would you recommend?
Yeah. First thing, a CV should be a very simple one. Okay, and it should not be a long CV that someone should not get interested even looking for. That should be a very simple one. Even a one-page CV will be more effective than having a long CV kind of thing. Since we are having a very limited time, and with that limited time, we are going through CVs. One shot we are taking, and that one snapshot is enough for you all to make the CV. And when looking for freshers and like say extracurricular activities and all, so normally people think the extracurricular activities only sports, dancing, music, and all that they are thinking the extracurricular activities limiting to that matters. That's not the industry today. So obviously, you should be able to focus on leadership skills, leadership developing programs, communication programs, like how you can improve your communication, like obvious ideally like Toastmasters and all. So those are some value adding extracurricular activities, and such students can follow up, and that will be adding a real value to the students, since like we are seeking for the extracurricular activities, not only per se doing extracurricular activity. That activity should add and value to the students, and from CV itself, it should be appears when we are screening CVs. And freshers, specifically freshers, must keep in mind, since for them to enter into the market, the first challenge is you need to enter into the market, you need to enter into industry, you need to enter into the private sector. For that, the first thing will be your CV. From there, if you are having only O levels, or if you are following foundation courses after O levels, or if you are in the same other category, so that should be the snapshot of your profile when we are seeking the CV.
Okay, thank you
Hope
so
I
much.
answered your question.
Yes, you did. Thank you. All right. So, Naini, I have a question for you. So, again, another question that I think a lot of the youth these days are concerned with is doing things as fast as possible to save time. So they're looking to see how they can get their degree done the fastest, and what the benefits are for them. So would a student have saved like a significant amount of time by starting their degree immediately after O levels instead of doing their A levels, or is there like no significant difference in the time?
Of course, there is a very much of a significance by saving time. If you can start a degree as soon as you finish college, that is that option you have to take. But then it depends on the financial stability of the parents as well. But then my advice would be, with a 20-year education industry experience, what I feel is that a student having time left after getting into a job like doing a degree, they will have ample time to, leisurely get experience in the industry, then get into a master's. Sometimes what will happen is, if you like, we are blessed with free education in Sri Lanka. So a lot of students do A levels and take all three shies, but then by the time they finish taking all those shies, they're at the age of 23, 24. Especially if it's a girl, then you rush into marriage, and then your energy is gone. That the time that you can spend in the industry, learn, grow up the career ladder, experience so many things, get exposure, is not there for you. So, and especially nowadays, students studying at international schools compared with the government schools finish their O levels early, A levels early. So they have a lot of time to, start a degree, finish education, get into the job market early, then get exposure, experience, and then do a master's, leisurely, then, do a PhD, and, enjoy all perks in the private sector, or for that matter, internationally. But then what I would like to advise kids who are watching today, the parents, is like, if you can, explore your opportunities. Gone are the days that you have to finish A levels and get into a degree. Now there are so many opportunities. I wouldn't say shortcuts, but good opportunities. Shortcuts, as in such, nowadays you get many opportunities that you get deprived of a proper education by trying shortcuts. I'm not advising that. What I'm advising is get into a proper foundation, which is of 1 year, and which is recognized for you to get into a proper industry. Just because you want to get into a shortcut, finish your education early, you must not do that. You would need to do your homework properly, find information, and get to know a proper foundation, like the foundation what we offer, which, with my 20 years experience, like, this is a fantastic opportunity that kids would get, that I'm working with UCL at is offering. So that it is a 1 year foundation which is recognized by many universities for a proper degree program. Otherwise, you get many shortcuts of foundations for 8 months, 6 months, which sometimes you may not get the opportunity to get into a degree. But then if you do a proper foundation of 1 year, get into a degree, and if it's an honors degree, if you have a first class, sometimes you can forego the masters and get into a PhD even. And a lot of industry experts are looking for UCL degree holders because they are of great quality. So you will see that more and more in this presentation, also through Raya. So and not only Raya, the students that who we have at UCL are of that same caliber, quality, so that they are challenged by each other. So every day, every year, they are challenged by each other, and there is tremendous improvement room for improvement. So that is why, like I'm saying, select a proper foundation and get into a proper degree, so that it could support you and save a lot of time for you, and get a lot of exposure in the industry via that.
Yeah, definitely. I think a strong foundation is very important. On that note, though, when we talk about universities, I think what comes into a lot of people's mind is, oh, no sleep, living on coffee, a lot of stress, and those are like the common notions that everyone thinks of when you say university, right? So I was thinking, does how does jumping straight into a degree program affect it? Like, how is the atmosphere at UCL? How does it affect the stress levels of a student?
Um, well, at UCL, the degrees offered support students to take their own pace and get themselves adjusted after school life to start off smoothly. And then we have in-house lecturers. The environment is so conducive for studies, so that they don't feel that they've started a degree. So I'm sure Aya will tell you more about it. So, and then like our facilities, the lecturer supports, and I must say our lecturers are all internationally exposed lecturers. So therefore the students are like very free to talk to them, get information from them, and sometimes they'll sit with them, guide them, talk to them throughout their difficult times and all of that. So I don't think the kids would feel the stress at UCL in the degree. And then the University of Central Lancashire internal degree is what we offer at UCL. So that is it's not only based on examinations. Sometimes you get students, however much they study, when they go for the exams, they're excited. So sometimes they may not do the paper well. But the structure is such at the degrees, in degrees at UCL, you have a lot of assignments, presentations, and also exams that would add value to your final year marks. So therefore you don't have to take stress thinking of a final exam. Like what we have, you study for one whole year, then your whole knowledge is test on one particular exam. That is not what we are having at UCL. So the students who are really great in doing presentations, doing assignments, who like to do research, and they can gain marks while doing superb assignments and presentations, and then also they can score marks at the exams. So it's a combination all of such things. So I don't think students would feel stressed.
That's actually really great that you have assignment based exams as well instead of a final exam that's very stressful. That's actually really great. All right. So then let's ask Raya a question. Okay. So this question is do you regret not doing your A levels or like being in school during that time? Because so most of the students, at least in my year, everyone was really excited to stay back in school because according to them, like A levels is the best time to be in school. So do you regret like not being in school? What was your thought process?
Well, I actually don't regret not doing my A levels because, I mean, in my opinion, I have found the foundation course to be much more effective and much less time consuming. Because you see, in the rough span of a year, foundation students they undergo specific training to groom them for the degree. And I personally feel secure knowing that I have signed up for a program that is customized to help me out with the degree. In terms of extracurriculars, UCL has sports like football, basketball, netball, cricket, and swimming. And in addition to that, they also have these events known as UCL Talks, where they get in all these influential businessmen and businesswomen, and they interact with and they share their experiences with foundation students. So speaking from first-hand experience, as I have attended many of these events, I would say that I found them to be very helpful and I was very enlightened by them, especially because I myself am an aspiring business student. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I would say that I don't think I have missed out on any experiences that A levels would have been able to offer me. I feel like I have gained more experiences from the foundation program.
That's great. That's really great. Um, Another question to you is so especially during quarantine, I think a lot of people started coming up with their own small businesses. So what are your thoughts on being able to manage both a business and your workload at university? Is it going to be tough to like balance both of them, or is it manageable? Is my question.
Okay, so I mean, I am personally working in my mother's business. It's a tuition academy as her marketing manager. So I would say that it is manageable. It is manageable. You can juggle both your job as well as your work for the foundation degree, because as I've mentioned earlier, the foundation program workload is manageable. It won't be a cause for stress. It won't be an issue as long as procrastination is avoided. I mean, maturity is definitely needed. It's not going to be a joyride, I'll be honest. But as long as the student has dedication, as long as they have discipline, and if they combine this together, then both elements, that is the foundation program as well as they're managing their business, will be manageable. It can be done. I know it will take a lot of time and definitely a lot of effort, but time management is the key. And in my experience, what I do is I devote at least 2 to 3 hours of studying per day for my foundation course, and then this is followed by an indefinite period of time that is dedicated for my business purposes. I say indefinite because it all depends on the size of the task that needs to be accomplished. So what I would say is, don't rest until your workload for the day is completed. Don't put off work, don't procrastinate, because once it starts accumulating, once it starts piling up, students will actually, they will start rushing. And what happens when they start rushing? They fail to deliver on the quality that is required for that particular task. So I would say, as long as you stay motivated, as long as you stay on track, don't slack off, there will be less obstacles to be faced.
Definitely. So hard work and dedication is going to be your winner there. All right. Thank you, Raya, for that. Um, Lalani, a lot of like the thought process that a student who comes out of school immediately and starts looking for a job is that what are the jobs that are available to someone with only an O-level qualification? This is before they start maybe a foundation program or a degree program. It's what jobs would be available? What is the entry level of for a job with just the O-level qualifications for a student?
Yeah. First and foremost, I am glad to hear the UCL is providing all the qualifications, like say all the industry expectations from their setup, and providing industry the product that industry is expecting from the institutes like education institutes. So I'm glad to hear that from Raya and Nayani both. And with like say sometimes there could be students who could not sit to A levels by choice and by coincidentally. Both options are there, but always there are alternative solutions for them to continue their studies. Would say like O levels, after just O levels, like say in Sri Lankan law itself, O levels in the sense it's 16 years only. So for you to get into a job, you should be reached to the age that you can start a job. So that's the first qualification you need to set up. With that, and there are many alternative solutions for the for students to continue their studies. Like end of the day, we all expect one thing in our life, to enjoy a better life with a better income. That could be by doing a job or as a business or something else. For that, students must brave enough to find the best way of completing their dream to be the better life, and they must select the best solutions for their studies and the career. And schools or other education institutes, learning providers, and everyone should guide the students to select the right path for them. And the parents and students both should be wise enough to select the right institute without just selecting an institute, for them to get that right qualification. Say if we are recruiting a management trainee, obviously we look for some qualifications. For management, starting with the management training, in the sense they are having a big door, or they are opening a big door for them to create their career in a, like say, better way. So that obviously the knowledge and skills you need to come up with to get the right path for your job. Okay, and as a nation, and as industry people, we are also liable. We also have a big responsibility by creating that path for the students and developing the next generation to the right path of the career by now. So we are in that way at the moment at also, and um, in the right path in the sense like people and students, they must groom themselves not only with knowledge and skills, they must in from attitude itself, they should be able to take up any challenge in the market. That's the main qualification that industry look for, and especially from young generations, not like early days. Previous days we had a big dream of having a good job and reaching the career ladder, but nowadays the young generation, they are having a very short term goals in their life, and not they are not looking for a long term. If I ask from someone who are coming for an interview as a fresher, what is your vision for next 5 years, would say we are interviewing people for sales positions, and we are asking from them what is their vision for next 5 years. Someone could say in next 5 years my dream is to be a top 10 dancing teacher, but we are interviewing them for the sales positions. That's the unmatching setup that we are seeking from freshers and the people who are students who are coming for the interviews. That's why I'm telling, after O levels you need to find the right path to get your next qualification and make your setup, make your profile, make your uh, like as a person you should create a demanding profile for yourself. That's where you need to find the right path after O levels to bring up your up to the degree and next qualifications as well. Without just looking after O levels, you need to set your career with next level qualification with a good institute.
Thank you for that. Raya gave us her perspective of handling a part-time job while doing the degree. What are your thoughts on that? How, from a corporate perspective, how do you think it would be balancing a part-time job along with while studying for your degree?
Yeah, that's really great and excellent. Like it actually it is adding an value for their profile. Like just uh, like having only a paper qualification or number of degrees in your profile, it's immaterial. So once you come into the industry, the practical experience really matters for you to start your job from the first day itself, while you are continuing your degree or the qualification or foundation qualification. If you are having industry experience, if you are engaging with industries to do some assignments, if you are working with institutes, organizations to do some the group assignments or the individual assignments, if you are really seeking the practical setup of the organization while you are doing on your studies, while you are working on your degree, that will really add value for your profile. Since when at the date you start a permanent career, you know how the organizations are working, you know what is the cultures of organization, you know how to set up in a department, and you know how to work with a team in an organization. So working while doing your degree will add the like say marvelous qualification for your profile, and that will be more demanding for you. And like say in some organizations they are having like internship training programs that is structured, and they are structurally they have developed that program to bring that students to the required level of standard in the organization. Yes, I would really recommend, rather than waiting for you to complete and the job, it's really better, and it's like it's immense you to listen and hear from Raya itself to have a practical experience while doing her degree. That's a definite qualification, and that's the expectation of the industry today.
Okay, thank you for your insight, Lalani. Nani, the next question is for you. Um, this year, because of the whole COVID situation, I think EdXL gave predictive results to the students, and there was a lot of students who didn't get the results that they were hoping for, and a lot of their plans were ruined. So, what is there for them at UCL? Would they have to go through the foundation course as well, in addition to their A levels, or would they be able to start the degree program straight away? How would they be able to make up for that lost time?
Yeah, actually, they do not have to worry about any of those, predictive results and not getting results and all of that. well, like the ones who've got predictive results, if they have got low results, still they could reach UCL to find out the options we have. Sometimes if a student has come down in mathematics and English or something like that, there are alternative paths where we get them to sit for a examination to see their knowledge levels. And if they obtain the pass mark which is required by UCL, we get the opportunity to write to the awarding body and take them on board. But then it's evaluated on case by case basis, so they can always approach UCL for advice on that. And then if the students have not obtained proper results which they were looking for in their A levels, it's not a full stop for them. They can pursue a degree, but then for that they have to again consult a higher education institute to find out how they could join the program. So if they can reach UCL, we can definitely talk to them and find out the results and then see how we could support them. So I would like to invite all the students at this point of time to contact us. If they need our assistance, we are always there to support them. So to advise them and to guide them. So they can contact us at any time via our website or our Facebook, or contact the hotline.
Thank you for that, ma'am. Also, I think another burning question that most students have these days because of COVID is how the university is dealing with the whole situation. Are the lectures happening online, or is it in person? What are the safety measures that's being taken, and how the future is going to look like?
Yeah, I would like to say COVID is kind of a blessing in disguise. These webinar wouldn't have been a successful platform for us to talk today if not for COVID, right? So see, the technology has come into play and have supported, and I'm very proud to say because of COVID, UCL never stopped lectures. The next week itself, we went online, and then the students did their exams, attended lectures, and we were on Microsoft Teams, and it had really helped us to have interactive sessions with students. And not only the current students did conduct lectures on these new platforms, but also the students who were to join UCL, we had online orientation sessions so that they could get familiar with working online before joining the programs. So actually, COVID did not hinder anything of UCL education. I think students got more exposure in terms of technology, how to work online. And then I think according to the statistics of UCL students' attendance, I guess students did attend lectures better than coming physically to campus. I guess they were comfortably at home, they could, without buzzing it or coming to UCL physically, they were, comfortable in their residencies, and then own bedrooms, getting online to the lectures. So in that way, at the comfort of their own homes, they were, uh, attending online lectures. And I think that was a different exposure experience altogether for them, exposure in terms of technology. And, it's a different experience. So and I'm pretty sure the students did enjoy it. And at UCL, they never, not even a day that they lagged behind any lectures.
That's always great to hear that they were having fun.
Yeah.
All right. So, Raya, um, again, another couple of questions for you. So, how were your experiences with COVID? Like, how did you like the online lectures? Because I know when I spoke to a lot of my friends, they were like, "Oh no, I was falling asleep during lectures. Online lectures are so boring. Nothing compared to like physical lectures and all of that." So, what were your experiences during these times?
So my experience with the online learning experience, as you said, I was hooked. I mean, the lecturers really managed to bridge that gap between physical and online, and they really knew how to keep us hooked by use of videos, teaching tactics, all of that. I personally never felt like, oh, let's just miss an online lecture today. Like, that was never my mentality because it was so interesting. I personally never saw a decrease in quality between that of the physical lecture and that of the online lecture. If anything, I found the online learning experience to be a little more beneficial because you see, for example, let's just say I'm sick and I miss a lecture. The lectures were recorded via Microsoft Teams, and therefore anyone who happened to miss a lecture, they can immediately catch up. Also, the lecturers were available 24/7. So for example, let's say I have a doubt to clarify, but I'm not in the physical classroom. What do I do? Simple. I call up the lecturer and I ask him or her one-on-one the doubts I have. So that way I feel it was a very efficient method. The exams were also done online, and personally I felt that it was a very smooth process. Everything just went without a glitch.
That's always great to hear. All right. So I have one more question for Lalani. Is there some sort of ceiling that a student would hit in their careers by not doing their A levels, or just doing a degree that's not exactly beneficial? So, what sort of ceiling could a student potentially hit, and like how could you avoid that?
Yeah. Once you get into the industry, somehow like say after O levels you are following some courses, so you are going through A levels, so sometimes you are getting through degrees and all, some kind of qualifications are there. If you are asking if someone with only O levels and having some other qualification, so with that, like say first thing you need to make an evaluation on yourself. Okay, and you need to study yourself better, and you need to do a SWOT analysis on yourself, and you need to bring the uh, right strengths and the opportunities you have, and how we can convert your weaknesses into strengths and your threats into opportunities. That's where we are taking ourselves into a better place in the organization. Okay, and then somehow when people like they should go beyond all levels, and they should acquire some qualifications from foundation qualifications or some other professional or some other technical qualification. With that, when you are joining with the organization, if you really perform by understanding your strengths and the opportunities available for you in the industry and within the organization, if you can really see that opportunity to groom up with, and if you can see the next level of your ladder, next level of position that you need to reach up, and if you are bringing your qualities to meet up with that the requirement expectation of the next position, definitely there won't be any barrier for anyone who has joined for the organization. So that's purely based on the way you are performing in the organization. Once you join to an organization, you would really see how the organizations are monitoring, how the organizations are performing. There are KPIs setting for each and every individual in the organization. If you are really focusing on your KPI, and if you can add extra value to that KPI, and if you can achieve the goals set for the year for you, and if you're really bridging your gap from the today to the expectation of the market, expectation of the private sector, I'm sure there won't be any ceiling, there won't be any barrier, there won't be any restriction for anyone who is joining with the private sector to go to the next level in the organization. And uh, I would like there are some advanced options as well. Once you join with the industry, once you join with the private sector, once you get into a job, you would really understand how we can work on the organization's cultures, and how you can really understand the private sector culture, and how you can really do a justice to the requirement of the private sector. If that is so, if you understand who you are, if you can really read the challenges in the industry, there won't be any restriction for anyone who is joining for the organization to work on basis. And it doesn't matter whether you are just after O levels, or it doesn't matter you did foundation courses after O levels, it doesn't matter you did A levels after O levels. However, you need to bring up your profile to match with the industry expectation, private sector expectation. There won't be any barrier here onwards if you are making the right profile that the private sector expects.
All right, thank you so much for that. Raya, I have another question for you actually. So it's incredible what you're doing, balancing both a degree and you're working part time. So how do you find the time in the middle of all of that to like socialize with your friends? How's your social? How do you find time to manage your social life in the middle of all of this? Um, sorry, Ryan, should I repeat my question?
Yes, could you please repeat it? I'm so sorry, I didn't get you.
All right. So my question was it's really incredible what you've been doing because you've been handling a part-time job with studying for your degree. So how do you manage to balance your social life in the middle of all of that? Because I'm sure your degree and your part-time job, like they both take up like incredible amounts of time. So how do you find time to like hang out with your friends and go out and stuff?
Well, I would say that my weekdays are normally reserved for my work. So, whatever work I have, I try to keep it to the weekdays from Monday to Friday and keep it there. If it gets really tough, then I will take Saturday as well in order to sort of crowd it up with my work. Sunday is always my free day. So anything that I want to do, for example, if I want to hang out with my friends, like you mentioned, or if I want to go out and treat myself to perhaps dinner, then Sunday is the day for all that. But I must stress, social life will be coming second. If you really want to succeed, if you really want to go after your goals, and if you really want to get that, then you will have to prioritize your work first and foremost. I'm not saying not to have fun, please do have fun, but after your work comes first. At least that's what I believe.
Yeah, definitely. So I think like a lot of us have seen that UCL has an incredible student life. So I would like to hear Nayani's thoughts on that. How UCL has really given the students a chance to like have fun at the university itself, and like what are the programs that y'all have for the students to like interact and have fun. Oh, I'm sorry, Nayani, you're muted again.
Yeah, in terms of students, the interaction and all of that, I guess UCL have a lot of those. We have a student union that students organize many things. Then apart from that, we have newly we are starting up a entrepreneurial club, and then we are having an arts. We are starting an arts club. So if students, I mean, we have a lot of talented students in singing, dancing, then comparing, then choreographing. So many talented students. So apart from sports that we have, as Raya mentioned earlier, we have all these things involved. And then as a education institute, we are getting into our research forums currently. And also like, fun part of it, we are having our zombie nights, we have our talent shows, then we have our fashion shows. So all of those are there. And then we have UCL Talk series, where students get more entrepreneurial ideas, and then they get to present themselves in those forums as well. So like, when you talk of fun, exposure, experience, I think UCL is full of those stuff.
Definitely, it sounds so much fun. And yeah, it's actually really healthy for a student to get both have a really good social life while studying for their degree. And it's really incredible that UCL offers all of that. Um, Again, I want to talk about the COVID situation and how it's affecting the workforce. So, Lalani, this question is for you. How do you think COVID has affected the workforce, and how do you think it's going to affect the students in the future when applying for jobs with all of these working from home, etc.? So, like, how would it really affect the students when looking for jobs?
Yeah, yes, there was an impact on the industry for the workforce, but I would say COVID gave us a good lesson, and it has given us a way to think beyond the beyond the frame that we were being into, and we all had some framework every day to go to work, and we had some kind of setup every day to follow. But after COVID, yes, we learned many, and work from home concept gave us a like massive advantages, since initially when we were traveling to work we had to stay in the road for a number of hours in the traffic. But after the COVID came in, when introduced the work from home and online meetings and online gatherings and everything, it improved our efficiencies while supporting to manage the personal life as well, and that gave an immense support for us. And when people applying for opportunities, now the market is again opening, and there are some vacancies rising up again in organizations. So students, they don't have to worry, and if they are making their right profile, yes, you have an opportunity in future in the industry.
That's great. That's great to hear that the market is opening up again. So I think we have a couple of questions from the audience. Most of it is going to be directed towards Nayani because a lot of them want to know how it's like, how it's going to be like at UCL. So one of the questions is they ask, is it possible to do a trial run before enrolling full time in a course? Hmm. So basically, they want to know is after doing O levels, if the student can get a feel of what the foundation course is going to be like before fully committing towards the program. I think. Um,
For that, I would like to say they need to visit us. We can certainly, they can participate for our orientation program and see the pulse of other students in the program, get an idea as to what the lecturers are and what are the subjects would be. So definitely they can participate for our orientation program of the foundation and get a snippet of what it is going to look like.
Thank you so much for that. Also, another question is, do you offer part scholarships for the foundation program?
Well, we do offer scholarships, but not for the foundation, but that is for the degree. Let's say, for an example, there are students who are after A levels who have a lot of extracurricular activities, say, let's say, uh, sports captains and, college prefects, head prefects, all of them. Let's say, due to being, active in school, they've not been able to get proper results. But then, if say they, unfortunately, if they've failed A levels, they have to start with the foundation. But then definitely going on to the degree after the foundation, there are, participation in sports, if they have colors in school sports, college prefects, all those can be considered for scholarships when they're going into the degree, but not in the foundation level.
All right. Thank you for that. So, do you have any general advice for all of our hopeful students? Just like, some sort of advice that they can use in their future?
Of course, yes. Now, I would like to stress on the fact that when looking for a foundation, you must look for an academic foundation which you can get on board with a degree. Because there are, when you say foundations, you get professional foundations where you can do a foundation of a professional course after O levels. But then professional courses you can do even after a degree. Usually after degrees, you get exemptions for professional courses. So if you don't take a call properly, you will be deprived of proper academic education if you don't think about it properly. So after O levels, I would like to stress on the fact if students are choosing for a foundation, they should look for the option of doing an academic foundation, like, which gives them opportunities to get into a proper degree. And also for students after O levels, or for that matter after A levels, the other advice I would like to give out of my experience is that they must not rush into a niche areas. Like, right now students should do a general degree which gives them a lot of opportunities, and which uh, you know opens out a lot of career opportunities for them. uh, Say for an example, if I may mention, let's say if it's a business degree, they must not get into niche areas. They should get into a BA honors, business degree, so that it gives immense knowledge in all aspects of business, like HR, branding, marketing, finance, economics, business laws, international marketing, so that they can choose for themselves afterwards. Now, especially in the degrees at UCL, it's a sandwich degree that we offer, which is a 4-year degree, where students can do first, second years and get into the industry placement in the 3rd year, and then complete the final year after coming back, finishing the industry placement. So in that case, the students do not have to follow what others would say, you're good in marketing, do marketing, you're good in finance, you do finance. Rather than getting into that type of a situation, the student can do the first 2 years and take a, option of their choice when selecting the industry placement, and then create a niche area for themselves to get into the industry. And then finally they can top it off with a master's which specifies those specific areas. As of now, 18 years, 16 plus years, you guys are really small to take a call on a niche area, because we don't know what would survive in the future. As of now, with COVID, a lot of paper companies are not having the paper circulation as of now, because a lot of people have switched on to the online mode. So at a particular given time, certain industries are really flourishing, but sometimes it may go down due to the necessities or requirements of the industry or of the human beings. So therefore, you must keep all the options open. And also when you're choosing a degree, you may join a degree now, but then you have to think of the fact that you're coming out in another 4 years or 5 years time into the industry. By that time, the degree that you've done, if it's an obsolete degree, you will not go anywhere. You'll have to, keep on updating your qualifications in order to, be suitable for the job requirements, as Lalali mentioned, right? So therefore, it's always safer for you to take a broad option in a degree and learn as much as possible, so that you can use many, options by the time you finish the degree. So that's one thing which I tell everybody with my experience, because I've seen a lot of students struggling after completing degrees, doing other professional courses, like sometimes they're taking up other additional degrees, in order to be fit for the jobs that they want to, get into. So don't get into that situation. Choose wisely. So if you call UCL or talk to us, we can advise you on that.
That's actually some really good advice, especially because of the fast changing times, as you said. That's actually really great. Um, Lalani, what are your thoughts on that? What are the advice that you could give a student who's young and hopeful and is hoping for a job in the future? What is the advice that you can give them from a corporate perspective?
Yeah, uh, the corporate is changing day by day, and the corporate requirement is changing day by day. So we should also change ourselves, matching with the industry expectation. So like Naini mentioned, you need to find the right way of reaching your career, reaching your ladder, and making your profile. So first thing, you must make a vision for your career, vision for your life, and you should have a clear goal for your life. With that, you need to make a time frame. All students, since this is specifically for the group of teens, I am mentioning this is again. So you need to make a vision, you need to make a clear goal for your future. In which year I am going to complete my degree, and in which year I am going to enter into the industry. In which year I want to be the good professional. I want to be the highest qualified professional in the industry, in the market. Likewise, you need to set a goal to your life, goal to your career, and work on that time frame. So that will gives you the right direction without failing. There could be some barriers, there could be some restrictions, there could be some fallings in between. But still, if you are going on in the right way, if you are riding your bike in the right path, so then the end destination would be clear for everyone. So you need to target on the end destination where you want to be in which year. So that's like in short, that's my main advice for the teens. You have to have a long-term goals, not the short-term goals. You need to have a like say clear vision for your life. And there are many people surrounding you, looking at you and where you are going and how you are going. And sometimes there are youngsters that who want to learn from you itself. So you need to set an example for next generations as well. From ours, from the corporate, we are ready to support the next generation. We are always ready to support the teens. We are always ready to give our guidance to anyone who are seeking for. So I would say the teens should be having a clear target and they must select the right path. And the parents and teens, the students, both should be wise enough to select the right way of having their next future, next career in where you should want to be, where you want to be. And not only as the head of HR, as a trainer, I am working with many institutes and I am also teaching for students now. With that experience, I know what are the thinking levels of students now. And in my lectures, I always try to convince students to see the real world, not the theoretical world. There are theories, yes, we need to follow up theories, but when it comes to the reality, when it comes to the practical world, when it comes to the practical implementation, you need to know how to convert theory into the practical scenario. So that's where our students need to be very smart and need to select the right way. So that's my end advice for all the teens, all who have joined for this forum. And I'm glad to connect to this forum since I could share my personal own experience with you all today.
Thank you for that. That's very true what you said. Raya, similarly, do you have any advice to your colleagues?
So I would really say, I mean, stay on track, be motivated and keep your goals in mind and always think far ahead. I mean, especially if you're a fun loving person, I get it. Please do have fun, but your work should come first. As long as you're motivated, as long as you don't slack off, like I mentioned earlier, nothing is impossible. So, and I would really advise for my colleagues, do try to get some practical business experience if you can. It doesn't matter where you get it from, because you see, it's not just about the theory. It's not just about what we learn in the book. At one point, we are going to have to go out into the corporate world and fend for ourselves. And that is when practical knowledge really comes into play. It's not just about the academics, you need to have the knowledge, the practical knowledge, to be able to apply it to theory as well. It should go together. So I would really say, don't just stick to the books. Get out there, get as many experiences as you can. Yes, have fun along with it, but remember that work comes first. So that would be the advice that I would give.
Thank you for that, Raya. This session really has been very informative, and I'm sure it has been very insightful. And it definitely would have shed some light to all of our listeners, everyone who had joined in on this call. So, yeah, I have to thank all three of you for your incredible amount of knowledge and all of your advice to us. So, thank you so much for that. Thank you for being a part of this webinar and for all of your thoughts on these matters. I'm sure it helped a lot of us. My name is Amasha Samarasinghe on behalf of Chokolaate, and Thank you for joining in on this call.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting and enjoyed the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss.
You're welcome.